Okay.
Okay, I can hear you now. Okay, great. All right, we did it. What's up? Okay, so we have a couple of new people. I'm just going to introduce myself real quick, and then we're going to talk about you, your business, and what you've been up to lately. So for all the newbies, the new CEOs in this space, I am Shamil Leonard, and I founded and created the Auto Dealer Business School to do just this, to one, connect people, and then also to help give solutions and systems to your business so you can consistently bring in six figures selling cars and feeling good about it. So you're selling good cars to the public and you're making good money and life is good, right? So I met Virgil a couple of months ago, and it's been an exciting adventure working with him. I love his spirit. He is driven. He is so talented. He has a great business, and I want you to hear about his business and what he's done working with me to change it around. So, Virgil, what's up?
Hi. Hey, good morning, Shamil. And thank you for that warm introduction. Just to reiterate a little bit, yes, I contacted Shamil a couple months ago. I had already been a dealer, had my dealer's license for approximately 5 years. However, I was not making a profit. I was not getting paid. I was buying cars, working on cars, and selling a few, but the profits weren't there. Um, After that time, I got really, really frustrated and actually was one step away from just selling everything I had and going and get a regular job. And the last thing I came across, I was on Facebook and saw the Auto Dealer Reboot program. And, I started following and started looking, and I realized, hey, I need to get some help. Maybe that's what I need to do. So I signed up with Shamil, with you, Shamil. We had our strategy interview, I think it was what you called it. Shortly after that, we got started. And from going from wanting to stop selling cars to this is the best thing I could have done, it was a matter of a couple months, and following the program. So, like I said, I had been in the car business 5 years already, but I knew of a lot, but I didn't have a plan. I didn't have anything strategic. So I was basically treading water, but wasn't really making any headway.
All right. Look, that's the end. Okay, great. Have a great day now. That's great. All right. So what do you think really made the difference for you working with me? Like what if you had to name one thing, what was it that helped you turn it around?
The details, the small things. For me, being in the dealer reboot, I'm not a dealer apprentice or someone new to the game. Like I said, I've been doing this for a number of years already. But what made the difference was all the little nuggets of information that you were able to fill in all of the gaps. I knew where to go get cars. I had auction access. I had truck trailer to go get them. I had accounts set up to sell and everything. However, all of the little details, all of the things that the glue that makes a successful auto dealership or make you successful in selling cars was what I got from you. I don't know if you remember when we have our strategy sessions, I would take copious notes, and it would be during our talking, is where I got most of my information from. I got most of my information on how to deal with people, how to valuing it, how to value your car, how to portray that value to your customers. My profits increased exponentially. I didn't know that I could be guaranteed a profit on pretty much every car, if I did the things I was supposed to. So the one thing I would say for me that helped me out were the golden nuggets, the details, which was more like a life coach scenario added to it. So it was more about getting my mindset right to be an auto dealer. I think that's what it was.
Wow, that's well said. Like I've never put it out there like that, but I do feel like most of it is mindset as well as the details. Like I believe
Hmm.
in the details and knowing the details, and I'm glad you were able to get that. I remember once when we were talking about the details as the like if you're laying a tile floor, and how when you're laying the tile floor, you put all the tiles in, so you have all the pieces, so you know where to get your cars, you know you can transport them, you got
Hmm.
all these tiles, but what's holding
Hmm.
them together so they become a floor, right? It's
Yes,
the
exactly.
yeah, so that's exactly what the details do, is it holds it together to give you a strong foundation, I believe. So that's great that
I know. I don't believe I know because, like I said, I was doing this 5 years. I'm not going off of something I read on the internet. I was doing the same thing I'm doing, but the only thing different between the last 30 days and the last or 90 days before was the nuggets and the glue that I got from you, and it just made what I had already profitable.
All right. Okay. So let's all then understand what exponential growth looked like for you. So like uh, from before we started working together to after, what was what was the change financially for your business? Like, what did you bring in? Well, we don't have to tell us what you brought in before, but
Well, before I can tell you what I brought in. I brought in nothing. Yeah, I had a tragic event. My mother passed away earlier this year. So, following that, I didn't get back into the rhythm of things. I wasn't doing a whole lot. I had bought a lot of cars, kind of like Nathaniel. I want to make sure I say his name correct because I heard you say it correct yesterday. I want to say Nathaniel, but it's not. It's Nathaniel. But like Nathaniel was saying yesterday, when I first started, that's what I would do: go out and buy cars and think that I needed to get the cheapest car I could get, with the problems and fix them all. And I was spending too much time in the cars, not buying the cars right, not buying the right cars. So I had a lot of that going on prior to getting connected with you. Once I got connected with you, I realized that what I was doing was basically being a mechanic with a dealer's license. I basically can't sell cars if I'm working on one all the time. And so that's what I was saying when it gets into the mindset. You can't be a successful auto dealer if your mindset is all about the bottom dollar, getting the car and making money off of it. There has to be a mindset that you have to be in, and that part will flow. Because once you get the mindset and you follow the plan, it's anybody could do it. It doesn't take a scientist or an astronaut to make a lot of money selling cars. So for me, that's what it was, getting my mindset right. So prior to that, I wasn't selling anything. I was having to take other income to pay my bills here. After I started the program, the first 30 days, it was a $9,500 a month.
woohoo!
Uh,
Look, let's
yeah,
like what
yeah,
you say?
yeah. It was three cars because I bought the cars right. I felt great when I bought them. I felt great when I sold them. The stress level dropped tremendously.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And I think it's important too to understand that that's three cars. Like it doesn't take like a million cars, a whole lot of volume, a whole lot of,
Hmm.
just you buy a couple of cars right, you can
Yeah.
have a wonderful month.
Oh, yeah.
And
And what it was, one of the things was when you told us about the niches, you say define your niche. And niches can be anything, as you said before. It can be a specialty type of car. It could be a different type of car, i.e., salvage rebuilds. It could be cash cars. It could be finance cars. What I've found is I needed to stop buying the cheaper cars and following your advice, spending up to about $1,500 on a car that I could then turn around and sell as a cash car between $3,000 and $4,000, and that's not a problem at all to do. If you have a good car and it's valued and priced well and it looks good, it's gonna sell.
right, it's gonna sell and gonna sell to the first person who come and see it.
Everyone that comes sees my cars, the first person buys them. I don't have repeat.
Right. Yes. That's what I
Yeah.
have been saying. Like, yes, you can have the very first person who comes to see your car to purchase it.
Uh, Shamil, somebody said, Eric said the video went out.
Oh yeah, I see that. I still see you.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe his connection might have had his video go out. Is
Hmm.
everyone else? Can everyone else see the connection, or can see the video? And then also feel free to ask questions too, and I'll
Yeah.
get them in there because this is for you to understand how
Yeah.
this can work for you. So
Yeah.
I want to just also. I want to also highlight what you said about the process. Like it is,
Hmm.
oh, thanks. Eric can still see us.
Yeah. I saw that.
The process, like if you perfect the process, you perfect the outcome. And
Yeah.
that's one thing that I focus on is just helping my clients perfect the process. Because once you got that process, once it's habitual, once it's like, this is what we do, then it's destined to work. So, all right. So,
Absolutely.
I don't really have any more questions. Is there something else you wanted to share?
Oh, yeah. Just that, like I said, I literally wanted to turn and throw in the towel. If anybody wants to be a dealer, wants to buy and sell cars, first and foremost, you can't go out without a plan. That's what I did. I decided I wanted to sell cars. And then I got tired of sitting around at home saying, hey, I'm going to sell cars. So I got off my butt and I did something. But I had no way of knowing what needed to be done. So I used my resources and my Google degree, and I got online and found out what I need to do, went through the process, and I got my dealer's license without any help from anybody. Got my own auction access, got my liability LLC set up. I did everything by myself and did it properly and have all my documentations on the wall. But there's more to being a successful dealer than getting your license. If you ask me, that's one of the easier parts. The part that needs to take place is you have to have a plan. You have to have a mindset. You have to have a, if I would have started with what I have now, had I been doing this 5 years ago, I probably wouldn't be sitting here talking with everyone here. I would be somewhere doing some great things, which I'm going to be doing in 5 years from now. But it's too easy. If we go in and we see a car, we have to first, Shamil even tells us which cars are popular sellers. One of the things I used to do, I'm a car guy, so I took all of my car enthusiasm and brought it into the car game. First thing, that needed to be metered. You just can't go in because I made a lot of emotional buys based on what I liked, what I wanted, different things like that. But that necessarily doesn't sell. I'm not out selling cars to myself. So again, I say it goes back to the mindset. I had to be retaught and trained that I'm selling cars for other people, not buying all of my personal cars, because that's one of the things I would do. I would buy all these cars that I liked, and guess what? It would take a long time to get for sale because they'd sit in my driveway, and I just rotate my dealer tag from one car to the other, and I really didn't have the proper mindset. So, but working with Shamel, that's what it was. We got to the grassroots, and we dove in and found out what my problem was. And that's one of the things I wanted to bring up too, Shamel, is I don't know if you recall or if you mentioned, we didn't do it the traditional way. Um, you have a plan, strategic. You gave me logins, password with the different weeks, the courses, and what was going to take place. You started off from the beginning with documentation, getting SOPs into place, compliance, and those different things. And then it got up to selling cars. Being that my situation was different, I already had inventory. We started right off the bat. I think, what did we do off the bat? We said, hey, let's start getting some money in. Let's start working,
On
and
selling.
then we worked. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So right off the bat, my first car that I had, we were able to get it up, get a good value for it, and sell it for what I wanted to get for it. And so I like the idea that you were able to personalize it for me. We didn't say, okay, well, we have to go to step one and we have to do this here and step two and do that. You did an assessment and determined that, hey, you have some paperwork in place, you have different things in place. And I think at that time you probably determined it was more my mindset that I had a funky outlook on selling cars. So that was a great thing that I had wanted to share.
Yeah, I wouldn't say you had a funky outlook, but we all get a little burned. It feels like,
Hmm.
and we internalize it when things don't go according to plan. Then we're like, man, can I do this?
Hmm.
So you just came with all of that. Like, what am I doing wrong? Because what's so hard about buying and selling cars?
Oh,
That's what everybody thinks. It's like, oh, I'll just
it's not
buy and sell cars, because what's so hard about that? It's not that it's hard, it's
everything.
just that you're missing the details and you need to get
Yeah.
the details. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so I do want to say, yeah, I understand. Look, we live in the real world, and
Hmm.
so I understood you need to make money, period. You got
Yeah.
bills coming up, you just paid me to
Yeah.
work with me, so let me
Yeah.
get you to recuperate that money right away. And I'm always thinking like that, like money, profit solves problems,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
it improves
Yeah.
it improves moods, it improves mental health, it improves relationships, right?
Exactly. And that was one of the things I remember we talked about too, as well, when it came to a strategy phone call, and you started talking about the price and the fees and different things. And I think when you told me, you like said it kind of slow, like you were waiting for me to give some pushback or something. And I don't know if you remember, I looked up and said, okay. I said, anything that's worth something is going to be something. If you'd have told me it was $100 or $200, I probably would have thought twice about it, because I said, if this is going to help me be successful in a business, it has to have value. And that's one of the things you had taught me. You have to value something. I stand in front of a customer now and they say, okay, what's your asking price again? I'll say 39.90. And I am 200% confident. Well, this and that. Well, and I'm never rude. I don't sell cars. I have cars for sale.
Right.
I don't, yeah, I don't try to convince someone to buy my car over someone else's. When you come see my car, you're going to buy it. If you're interested in it and you have the money, you're going to buy it. And one of the things you had taught me too is that if they come with the low balls, just those are the details I'm talking about. Um, if I had a car that was stagnant, someone would come and offer me a lower price on it because it hadn't moved. I normally would entertain or even accept the lowball offer because I would have to move the car. Um, but once I got with you and started talking with you and valuing it, um, I have not that problem anymore. So I know that my cars are valued at what they're worth. So when someone comes with a lowball offer, you gave me a suggestion to say, hey, well, maybe we can use that as a down payment and you can continue to pay the rest off. Or if you don't have the 39.90, well, this may not be the car for you. I'm sure there's some other ones that may not be in this nice a condition or may not have this low miles, but there's other ones that you can get for that price. But this one you're not getting for that price.
Right, because this was 39.90.
Yes, and we've already established that I'm the person who determined that. You don't tell, well, I wouldn't tell the customer that because it's all about customer relations, but
Right.
yes. And that made the biggest difference. I used to have anxiety when it comes to selling cars because of that, knowing that people were going to come lowball, trying to overprice the car to come down and get what you want. And when you do that, you're pushing out certain buyers.
Mhm.
And like you said, I don't make my cars the cheapest anymore because when I make my car the cheapest, I get the cheapest people.
Right.
And so, and once I stopped doing that, things changed. It's like, wow, I wish I would have knew this, before. So it's been, like I said, profits have increased just by talking, just by changing my outlook.
Right. Man, it makes me just so happy seeing your progress. Like, I'm just so proud of you. Just like I was telling Nathaniel and others, I'm just very proud of you, because it's not just about, you working with me. It's also you dove in and you said, look, let me use this for everything I can. Like, let me turn this into something good. What do I need? And you got it and you did it. Like, it's not just enough to have it. You need to execute. And you did that, and I'm just so proud because you're a different dealer than you were when I first met you, and you were
Yes.
happier now. Like you are.
Oh, extremely. Remember, went camping for the 4th of July. I never do that. I never take time off, but I started to take time off. I started to reward myself. If people don't know, there's a lot when we say it's not difficult to buy and sell cars, but to effectively sell cars for a profit, there's a plan that needs to be put in place. And if you haven't done it before, it's not something you can just come up and do or get online and do some research. You're gonna have to get it from someone who's already done it. And unfortunately, nowadays, you can't go to your local car dealer and say, hey, tell me all the insides of how they sell cars and be successful selling cars. No, they're not going to do that. And it goes back to education. Whenever we want to be a professional and go into a profession, we will go and pay a higher learning institution thousands and tens of thousands of dollars for a 4-year degree that when we leave, we're not really knowing how to do our job. We just learn how to research and follow instructions and read manuals. And that's all we're learning when we go to college. But we go and we pay all of this for that. But when it comes time to invest in yourself, we don't want to do it. We want a buck about what something costs. I remember we did the small analysis and said that basically that's one good cash car, or you basically recoup your, investment doing something as far as like selling a car or whatnot. It can be absorbed in one of the cars,
Right.
but we don't focus on that. We focus on what it is we're getting rid of, but I focused on what I was gaining. And I don't know if you remember, but I told you that I was going to not bring in my nuances. I wasn't going to come in and act like I knew stuff. I've been doing this. I was following the program. I was paying for a program, and I was going to let the program work. Remember, I told you, I said, I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. Whatever you have me to do or ask me to do, I'm going to do it. Because, like I said, whatever I've been doing in the past hasn't been working.
Right.
So I'm not going to come and try to tell you, oh, well, Shamil, if you do this, that, and the other, if I was that smart, I wouldn't be coming to you for help. But I'm glad I did come to you for help. I'm glad I did operate in a little bit of humility and just sit back as a car guy and let I don't mean any gender bashing or anything, but a woman tell me how to be a car dealer. But I had to eat a big piece of humble pie and say, hey, this person knows what she's doing. And I followed it, and it's been working great. I mean, this is too easy. I'm getting to the point to where I see now I don't have to be here every day. I don't have to do this. I can still make the money just like I'm sitting here, but it is totally doable that I can have a buy and sell and flip cars and not touch them
And not to.
and still make money. Yes,
Right.
I can. That is totally, totally, totally doable.
And that's the goal because you have
Yeah.
other things you want to accomplish. You talked about that
Yes.
strip mall,
Yes.
and those are the people I enjoy working with
Hmm.
the most because you're like, I want to master this and then get on to the next thing. Like you have an entrepreneurial spirit. You're like,
Yes.
yeah, this
Yes.
is just part of a bigger plan. And
Yes.
I like that. That is inspirational. And I also wanted to say, that it's not just all work. Like,
Oh no.
yeah, like our sessions were fun. Like you came up with some of the craziest nicknames.
Oh, yeah, the auto dealer doctor. But every week it was
It was
something. It's
something
like I
every
would
week. It
sit.
was, you call me the auto dealer Thanos.
Yeah, because it's like every week. That's why I keep saying it. It's the mindset and the details. Every week I was blown away, not by how to do this or to do that, or just about little things about how you are to approach this business. Those were the things that's most important to a dealer that's already in business, and also new dealers. You have to have the right mindset. It's not that you can go see someone paid $1,500 for a car and sold it for 3,500. Yes, he did that, but there was a lot of work that went in at the beginning.
Hmm.
I used to try to make my money in the middle. I would buy the car and try to make my money repairing everything myself, getting it done the cheapest I can. So that's where I was trying to generate my profit. And then when I got over to the selling part, because I didn't know how to market and know how to market, I wasn't marketing, but I didn't know how to sell it. Then I would get beat up on that end where they would, get me down to a price that I didn't want to. And here I am not making money. I'm like, why am I continuing to do this? But I've learned working with you, the key is before I even get to the auction, that's where I start making my money. I start making my money with run list before I go to the auction. And the day before, that's where I make my money.
That's where you make your money. And inspecting it, yes.
Yes.
Yep.
But before I wouldn't do that. We would come by like all of the other dealers because no one taught me, no one trained me. I would come through like everyone else and stick my hand in to feel the air conditioning, see if the air conditioning is working, lean up to the car and see if I can feel it. I did that once and went outside and the motor still was knocking. So that's not the way to do it, but there is a way to do this. You have to have a plan. You have to have a strategy. You can't just go to the auction with a wad of money in your pocket thinking you're going to buy cars cheap, come back, wash them, and sell them. It doesn't happen like that. If you do that, you're going to buy lemons most of the time.
Right. Okay. Well, we're pretty much at the end. I don't have any
Hmm.
questions. Do you guys have any questions? Let me know, because my last question is just, I mean, I guess it's kind of redundant because obviously you recommend it, but is there
Hmm.
any words of wisdom that you want to lay upon the people?
Uh,
Everything you
one
said has been, words of wisdom, but any closing thoughts, closing remarks?
closing remarks is um, because I know what's holding most people back, and it held me back, but my desperation was stronger than what held me back. And what held me back was money. I was concerned about giving up money for something, but I understand in business, you have to spend money to make money. There's an investment. I have to invest in myself and invest in my business. And as long as I'm doing that, that's how you get exponential growth. If you continue to do the same thing you've been doing, why do you expect anything to be any different? So it takes a leap of faith. It takes a sacrifice on your part. It takes what that does is it signed me up. It put me in 100% because I said, if I'm spending, I'm going to have to pay attention. Because if you're not spending, you're going to be, oh, I can't make it this week. I have a hot dog viewing contest to go to. And oh, next week I can't. My dog has to get his toenails clipped.
Right.
And without those details, you will not be successful. If you come try to hit it this week, 2, 3 weeks, it's not going to work for you. You have to do it like she says, do it. If you come in, keep your eyes open and your mouth shut and just listen and do what she says. You have no choice but to be successful. I don't see how, only way you fail if you don't do it.
Right.
That's what I see.
Wow, those are some great
Yeah.
closing remarks, and I do want to comment a little bit on being a woman in this business,
Hmm.
because you mentioned it, and I'm sure other people too are looking like, what does this woman know about being an auto dealer, right?
More than I do.
Right. Right. I because I'm a woman, um I have certain things that come natural to me. And
Yeah.
it's those things that help me to put this information together in a way to give it to you and to make it and to
Hmm.
help to make it digestible, and to help to make it simple and to communicate it. I am inherently a nurturer. I'm inherently connected to people. I'm inherently intuitive because I'm a woman. And so that is a superpower in what I'm giving you, because not only do I have the knowledge and experience as an auto dealer, but I also can feel what you're feeling. I pay attention to what's blocking you. I pay attention to what your hesitations are. And that is exactly what
Hmm.
will blow the doors wide open for you and your business.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. To caveat on that, that was one of the reasons you sparked my memory. That was one of the reasons because remember I said that I was working on cars and doing all of these things, but I didn't have my office right. I didn't have my paperwork. I wasn't meticulous in my tracking and different things like that. And I told you normally females are more females are better with that type thing in my experience than a lot of males would be. I'm not saying males aren't, but more than likely females
You
are.
can say it. We're more
So
organized and detail oriented.
yeah, I want to say that. And we just want to get out there and work and have fun, but we can't just do that. We have to have that other side done first. So, and working with a woman, what it did was with guys, we'll normally take a little bit more of a risk, but working with you, you take us through everything. We're inspecting cars, we're checking out. You're going through it from a woman's standpoint. So that made it reduce the risk. I mean, to me, there's no risk. I don't see the risk. If you do what you're supposed to do, there is no risk. And it's simple because everything's laid out, it's drawn out. I don't know if you remember, I kept telling you to slow down because I kept writing so much, but you was like, oh, we have that in the folder, we have that information already. But you made the risk low, you made it simple, and everything was readily available. So it was just too easy. If you do it, you're going to be successful. If you're not successful, it's your fault.
Wow. I mean, this was just so wonderful. I mean, honestly,
Mhm.
from start to finish, it's just been wonderful working with you. It's been wonderful
Oh, yeah.
seeing your
Same with
progress,
you.
and it's been wonderful for you to come on. So I really thank you. We didn't
Mhm.
get any other questions. I guess that's,
Yeah, I didn't see any either.
I know maybe people are, processing, but if you have any,
Maybe the answer.
yeah, if you have any questions, then just put the comments below. We're in this for life. Like, I'm gonna always be Virgil's coach.
Oh, yeah.
So if you
And
have any questions for him, let me know.
mhm.
What are you gonna say?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and like I also appreciated there's no place on the internet to go get information. I don't know if people realize how much great free information they're getting. They're getting so much. I was learning a lot from the Mentoring Mondays. I was learning from all of the different, and that's what prompted me to go and do strategy call. But I'm like, wow, I didn't even have this stuff when it came out. So I appreciate that you are creating a dealer community on Facebook. I just love the fact that we can go and talk about different things about what you paid for a car, how much profit, ask questions on this. I never had that. For 5 years, I had to figure everything out on my own, everything out. But now we can at least come to the discussion board and we can talk, we can post questions, we have interactions with others. I haven't met Eric or Nathaniel, but I feel like I know them already because they participate quite a bit. And I know we had mentioned before, and I'm looking forward to doing a collaboration and then the dealers we get together and come up and meet. I don't mind driving. I'll drive anywhere, wherever it is. But whenever you have a function where we all get together to do something, to spend a day, talk some strategy, some CE training or something, I'm definitely going to be there and look forward to it.
Okay, yeah, we got our holiday party coming up for the Auto Dealer Business School. I can't wait because it's going to
Hmm.
be pure fun and profit
Hmm.
building. So we can
Yeah.
all get together and, just understand that we are all auto dealers and it also has to be fun and, we're not
Oh,
in it
yeah.
alone. So again, I thank you for your time. I miss
Thank
our
you for having
sessions.
me. Yep, I do too as well. Because like I said, every week you were giving me something that it was like so much, it was like overwhelming. It was so much good information.
Yeah, that's good to hear. It's good for me to hear too, because you were very affirming for me because, I'm out here doing this and I'm hoping that it's making an impact. And you kept telling me, yes, this is making
It
an
is.
impact.
For me, it did. I don't know about everybody else, but for me, and I had to stop being me and just listen to you, and I was fine.
Well, all right. Well, I can't wait to talk with you again. We'll be in touch. And
Okay.
again, I appreciate you coming on and letting everybody peek into your journey.
Yeah, it's awesome, and
Yeah.
it continues.
Yeah, so enjoy the rest of your day. And
Thank
if
you.
anybody has any questions, then just put the comments down below. I'll also
Yeah.
post some information about how you can work with me if that's something you need to do. And we can expand this Auto Dealer Business School family of some profitable and fun and
Hmm.
responsible auto dealers.
Yes. Yes.
All right, y'all. Enjoy your
Okay.
day, and I will talk to you soon. All right. Bye,
All right.
Virgil.
Thanks, Shamil.
Appreciate
Bye bye.
it. Bye.
Thank you.